Hey, good morning everyone. So I figured I would put out a little bit different video today, let you guys all know what's going on with the YZ490 build and why over the last little bit it hasn't really progressed a lot. This COVID-19 thing is really affecting the build a lot. I'm not trying to take away from how serious this pandemic is. It is very serious. A lot of people have died, a lot of people have got it, and are in serious condition or have adverse effects to it and serious consequences after they've gotten rid of the disease. Most of the world is in some sort of lockdown. I'm fortunate enough to be still working because the byproduct from the business that I work in is actually used to make the N95 masks that are so important for everybody to be wearing in the medical field for this. I just want to tell you how this has affected the build. The costs of the build have gone through the roof. Living up here in Canada, there's not a lot of 1983 YZ490s around, especially in the lower mainland of BC. I might have one of the only ones still in existence, unless somebody's got one that they're not really showing off on social media. So all of my parts that I get, I have to get from other countries or the other side of Canada. Almost everything comes from the United States. A few things have come from Australia or from the UK. To get those things delivered in the past, I could get something from Australia with a delivery charge of about $60 US, so it was almost $100 Canadian by the time it got here, which, it's understandable. It's got to go halfway around the world to get here. But now with the pandemic and the delivery systems being taxed extremely, meaning, not taxed monetarily wise, but taxed in that they're so busy delivering necessary things that the unnecessary things, like getting a crank for the YZ490 delivered, cost a lot of money. Like I said, I don't want to take away from what's going on in the world and how important it is for these delivery services to get those things out there that are saving people's lives. I live literally 10 minutes drive to the border, the US border. I have all of my parts delivered to the US border, and then I drive down there and I walk across. It takes me literally 5 minutes to walk from my vehicle to where I pick up my parts and then come back. When I'm bringing my parts back, if they're used and the value is low enough, I don't pay anything other than the pickup fee at the place where I get them delivered to. There's no taxes, there's no duties or anything like that. They have specific things that deem stuff to be taxable or duty charged on them, and most of what I get is used, which you don't pay any duty or tax on. So right now, my crankshaft for the 490 is sitting down in the States, and it used to cost me $4 to walk down there and pick it up. I can't go across the border. Right now the borders are shut down. You're not allowed to go down across the border. So I have to have a delivery service pick it up down there and then bring it over here. The delivery service that provides the brokering is located right there. Literally a 2-minute walk. Now their charges are very reasonable. I think I'm being charged something like, I don't know, $6 for this person to walk over there, pick up my parcel, turn around and bring it back, and then set up the brokering between the delivery service and them. Now the charge for the delivery, get this, it's going to cost me $108 Canadian to have it delivered 10 minutes away to my house. That's how it affects the build, and where I can't justify in a lot of cases ordering anything out of the States right now, which is going to prolong the build. The crank is a necessary item. I have to get it over here. My time is almost run out for the storage place that I had it delivered to, and I don't want them to throw it away or send it back to the person that I bought it from. So I'm going to pay to get that up here. Now I may still have to incur some sort of duty on it. The value is $100. It is a used item. I don't know what's going to happen. I may be charged some duty on it and or some taxes. So that should be delivered in the next couple of days. There's still a lot of other parts that I need to get. I've actually ordered all the motors, all the bolts for the motor out of Florida, and I watched its tracking literally take 2 days, maybe even a day, from Florida to Chicago, and now it's stopped. On tracking, it's red, and it has not moved in 10 days. Now, I don't know if it's because it's on a truck and there's just no tracking going on, like it's literally going from Chicago maybe into Canada and then from Canada to here, because once you get your item delivered into Canada, the tracking is absolutely horrible. You can't find out where anything is at. If it's coming from Ontario to BC, Canada, there's going to be nothing, no tracking at all. You're literally going to see Ontario, and then you're going to see Vancouver, and then even once it gets here to Vancouver, from wherever their distribution center is in Vancouver to Abbotsford, which is 45 minutes away, takes days, sometimes a week for it to get here. The infrastructure of the American postal system and delivery systems is so much better than what Canada is. I mean, there's a lot more people down in the United States, so I get it. More better roads. We've literally got one main highway traveling across our entire country, where there's a lot of different roads all over the United States, plus air. Almost everything I buy in the States, it gets sent by air in most cases, straight over to Washington, and then Seattle, Washington, and then gets delivered by truck up to Sumas in a few days. So that's something that I got ordered, and I'm waiting to see what happens. The bolts cost me $25, and then the delivery I think was another $25. So by the time I get those bolts here, it's something like $80 Canadian. I want to see if I get charged duty and taxes on that. It's not a high cost item, but when I used to walk across the border and pick it up and walk back, I never got charged for that because it was such a minimal amount. It doesn't make sense for them. But when you get stuff shipped for whatever reason, you tend to get nailed for duty and taxes a lot of time. If I don't get nailed for huge duty and taxes, there's a lot of smaller items for the 490 that I still need to get. I may order them from the States as long as the delivery fees are not extreme. I'm watching every day on the news to try and see if the borders are going to open up and if I'm going to be able to, like maybe just walk across to get stuff or not, and how long the United States and Canada keep the border shut down. I'm still going to move on with everything that I've got here and do the best that I can. I'm still waiting for my frame. It hasn't come in, or pardon me, it hasn't been done yet. I stopped at the powder coat place again yesterday. He's had it for a few months now, and he said he'll do it this week. I really hope he gets it done this week, because once I get the frame done here, I can start to get a lot of the smaller stuff put on. I dropped my shock off yesterday to get built. There's another thing. So the rear shock of the bike, turned out that I cannot rebuild it myself. It requires special tools and knowledge of how to do it that I do not have. Maybe later on down the road I'll find an old one that's somewhat destroyed or no good for anything, and I'll disassemble it and see how it works and maybe manufacture a tool for myself. But for now I had to drop it off with a professional at RMR to get them to do it. That's also costing me $300 that I wasn't expecting. I expected to have to buy a new dust seal and a new bumper, which I was going to be able to get for roughly $70. Now I'm at $300. The budget is now at $4K. We're there. We've hit it. And that's not even including some of the tools and stuff that I've had to acquire for this. So it's not like I'm going to stop the build. The build's going to continue, but I may have to wait for the revenue from YouTube to come in before I can use those funds to pay for some of the other things that I need to get done. When the crank gets here, I need to take it to somebody in Langley where they will have to press out the pin and put the new connecting rod in it. So I'm still going to have to look at whether or not I can use that piston. I mean, the piston's in really good shape. It's got a little bit of scratching on the intake side that I can easily clean up, but I have to look at the tolerances again on the cylinder to piston and decide whether or not those are within the acceptable allowances for the bike. If not, then I'm going to have to take that cylinder in and I'm going to have to see what I can do with it. It doesn't look like there's anything left to be able to bore out, which is not good, because then I'm going to have to get it re-sleeved and probably just skyrocketed it right up to about $700 right there to get it re-sleeved, get it bored, and get a matching piston for it. Hopefully I don't have to do that. So anyway, guys, that's currently what's going on with the build and how the COVID pandemic has affected my ability to be able to get parts out of the United States and anywhere else around the world, and how the costs are climbing exponentially with the build. All right, so that's going to wrap up this video. I'm going to get back working on the project so that I can put more videos out for you guys to see. If this is your first time coming to the channel, I got lots of other videos that you can go back and have a look at of other builds that I've done. If you're returning to the channel, I'm hopefully going to be getting more videos out weekly of stuff that I've already done prior to the release of this video. Everybody stay safe, stay home. Let's get rid of this COVID thing so the whole world can get back to normal. Thanks for watching. Catch you next video.